Hey, so I taken a little peek on some of the social media stuff, and like everything is so dire, man. And it is. But like I had this flash. I just came back from a walk, and I had this flash of this story, this memory, and my grandmother and I were really close. And like a lot of times, I think when you are close to a grandparent or another adult that's older than you, you kind of age up, and you sort of have fun on their terms, whatever those terms are. And you know, often with a grandparent, it's sort of this light, very I don't know how to put it, but like very clean fun, you know, like good family fun kind of thing. And my grandmother and I were like bad middle schoolers. We were terrible together. Most of the family didn't know this, at least not while she was alive. Oh, we got up to no good. I mean, we were just shy of prank phone calling people. Never did that with my grandmother. But anyway, when she died, I went to the funeral. I was living in Portland at the time, came down to Eugene, and we were it was at a church. It was all, you know, appropriately sad. It was appropriately sad. Everybody was sad. Because that's where, you know, it was a funeral, not a wake. Funeral. It was sad. Open casket. I'd seen her about a week before, maybe a month before she died, and she didn't look that good. And so I knew something was up with the embalming because she looked great. And you know, my brain's just collecting facts when I walk in. I'm not actually processing anything. And so like sad, and you know, this is appropriate. Grandma Nana looks good, and this is appropriate and sad, and I'm dressed up, and that's appropriate, and everybody's dressed up, and that's appropriate, and there's music, organ music, sad, very sad. And so I sit down, and in a pew, my mom's on one side of me, and my older sister's on the other side of me, and I look over, and this tenor is singing, you know, as part of the service, and I look over at my grandmother's embalmed face, and the part of me that should have been saying, or imagined should have been saying, oh, it's so nice that she looks so good in her open casket. That part of me said, instead of that, this is fucking ridiculous. And I busted out laughing. I could not stop laughing. I mean, I stifled an absolute guffaw, but like I buried my face in my hands and I'm like hunched over, just like shaking, right? And my mom jolts because she's like, oh, shoot, you know, Nick has lost it. And she reaches over and puts her arm around me, and my mom and I are attuned to each other, and she leans over and she goes, you stinker, you're laughing, which gets her started laughing. So now she's like hunkered down, holding me, like, and we're just shaking, like the whole pew is just rocking back and forth. Then my sister on the other side of me reaches over and she's like, and you can hear her, she's like about to coo like a dove, like, oh, this is so touching. And she reaches over and realizes what's going on, and she snorts through her nose practically. So now the three of us are hunched over together, just like, we could not stop laughing. And I don't know how long it went on. We managed to pull it together before the tenor stopped singing, but it was really difficult to make it through the rest of the service because I had that sort of flash of, this is a painted scenario where I've been given a script of how to respond. Sorry, I had a technical difficulty there. My phone died. I just, you know, I just thought that just gave me some perspective on like why I'm in this headspace that I'm in. So that's my experience. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up and see what comes out of my fingers. there's an idea here. I can't get it. It's like right in the tip of my fingers here. Was a 5-year-old in me that really needed to get out. I hope that was as ridiculous for you as it was for me, and that you enjoyed it, and you enjoyed the story about my grandmother, whose name was Frances, by the way. That's where I get my middle name. And have a beautiful evening. I will be back tomorrow morning.